So I'll keep moving on. I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on till I reach the somehow.
My family, I wish to say how well it is to be with you one more time, and I give Almighty God thanks. Straight Talk is a public service program that facilitates and promotes free expression on all issues of national interest, be they legal, be they environmental, be they technological, social, economic, and or political issues. On Straight Talk, we do have a forum to express yourselves freely. Let's, in the process, continue to keep St. Kitts and Nevis as one of the freest countries in the entire world. My Straight Talk family, if you're joining me for the first time, I do want to welcome you wherever you are on this planet, especially those in the Kittitian and the division, the diaspora, those in Asia, in Europe, in Africa, and those of you all over North America. And yes, my diaspora family in the US, VI, and the BVI, and all over the Caribbean. Like I said, it's a bit late, so I'm going to go right into it and welcome you and thank God for blessing me with this opportunity to join you one more time. Last week, I looked at the scorecard of our team Unity administration, and I trust you had a wonderful weekend, my Straight Talk family. And the majority of us agreed that it was a scorecard for success. I also posed the question whether you believe that any other leader could have shepherded the Federation through these unprecedented times. And the majority of us also agreed that Prime Minister Harris is the right leader who, by divine intervention, has come at the right time. And one caller put it in a very clear and concise way when this caller had this to say, my Straight Talk family.
The question that you asked concerning Dr. Harris and Dr. on the leadership, that question was put before the electorate in the last election. That's why the team Unity gets such a more sounding victory at the polls, because they see the courage and the strength of the team, and also the vision of the leader and the medical team that is there, and the people behind the Unity administration. Because you see, the people of the Federation are the ones who said they want to see a change at the political party vibes that's going on in the country. That's where they say unite. And if the people are saying unite, that means they're reaching out to God. Because that's what God desires his people to do, to be obedient and to unite. Find ideas within the unity scope, because unity comes from Christ. And if a people is putting out their vision, their vibes, and unity, the leaders who in the scope must always see ideas to keep that bondage, because God love it and the country will get more blessing.
Family, that in fact was a question answered, and Prime Minister Harris, as it was concurred, and Team Unity as well, was sent by God. There was one gentleman, though. There's one gentleman who called from England, and I appreciate all my listeners, but in fact, it is special when those in UK, in Europe, and elsewhere can forsake their rest because it's about just past midnight or about 1 o'clock, and Elsie and others in England are up. I must confess that speaks volumes. But what this gentleman said gave me quite a lot of food for thought, my Straight Talk family. And this is what he said.
About 4 years ago, serious negotiations started between Dumas and the Navy.
No, that's not what he said. In fact, the good gentleman had this to say. Forgive me for that, my Straight Talk family.
This is a call from the UK. Good evening, Mr. Liburd. I disagree with many things that your callers are coming up with. Condemning Mr. Douglas too many times. I've been coming to St. Kitts every year from 1983, from the time of the independence. And we have to consider a lot of things has happened since Douglas has been in office, such as, so many hotels has came forward. We have to look into those sorts of things. Every man that becomes leader has his own work to do, and Douglas has done his. I agree that he's done it. Now another man take over to do his work. So we watch and see the work Mr. Timothy is doing, the PM is doing. So we're enjoying what he is doing, but stop the bickering concerning leadership, because it doesn't sound very nice. I mean, half of the callers that comes on your program, some of them sound as though if they're just coming out of a rum shop. They sound confused, they're shouting. It's terrible to listen to them internationally. They have to understand they're on the air talking to the world. Talking to the world. They have to be humbled and present themselves as kittish and humble themselves, that everybody in the world can understand what they're saying. We're too far away from that. And that's all I have to say for tonight. Let's learn to live and stop striving against each other. Thank you very much.
A good way to stop striving against each other. The rum shop comment, though, a bit below the belt, I believe you would say, because in St. Kitts, we talk the truth, and most people are passionate about what they say. But it also compels me, always some food for thought. It compels me to set the record straight, because a lot of things happened when Douglas was in office, but a lot of things happened before Douglas got into office, and a lot of things happened even after Douglas was dismissed from office. So respectfully, I am at variance though with the caller to suggest that so many hotels came forward under Douglas. As a matter of fact, the first major hotel was built by the government, the Bradshaw government to be exact, way back I believe it was in 1977 or thereabout. I stand to be corrected. And this hotel was eventually sold to the current owner by the Kennedy Simmons government. The first major hotel in Nevis was built in 1991 under the Sim Daniel administration. 1991 to be exact, under the NIA, my Straight Talk family.
This island administration on the possibility of the construction of an upmarket hotel along the same lines that the Inns of Nevis were promoting, together with an 18-hole championship golf course. It was just over 2 years ago that negotiations were completed, and I was engaged in the groundbreaking ceremony where I laid the first stone to commence the construction of this magnificent, luxurious resort. That was an historic moment in industry in Nevis, because we had just opened the gate of golden opportunity in this country Today, we have just entered the gate, and here we are with a 196-room hotel being operated, the ultimate in the operation of luxury resorts, and I'm referring to none other than the illustrious company Four Seasons. We have again annals of history. Just over 200 years ago, the first commercial hotel in the Caribbean, the Bath Hotel, was constructed in Nevis. And today we can boast the opening of the first five-star hotel in the region.
The timed arrangement between then and now, one could estimate, if you look at the figures, the government's operational figures, and I did it using the Island Enhancement Fund, which is something that was introduced under my stewardship, percent. If you use those figures and you extrapolate, you might come to that between 2002 or 3, anywhere between $100 million have been going into the public purse. And it's not the Marriott Hotel letting onto this money. And I don't know if things have changed since I left. But the hotel to the owner. And I would hazard to guess that not one penny of that has been paid in, nor will it ever be.
Yes, my Street Dog family. Controversy continued at the Kitchen Hill project when this administration over $90 million in that Ponzi-like scheme, I will call it. He then went on to pump money in the Crystal Harbor development, some $43 million of the money to bail out his friend whose family had internal problems, a Straight Dog family. He went to actually bail out the Derby family. Remember this, my Straight Dog family.
The investors and developers in the Crystal Harbor, again, internal problems. Development and the Crystal Harbor people approached the SIDF. The cabinet, with me as chairman of the took this to support the SIDF, to invest foreign money that was brought into the country for our advancement and invested it in the Crystal Harbor so that that experiment of development can continue.
Imagine that. 43 million of the people are spent to bail out our good friend Derby. Foregoing wasn't bad enough. Examine the La Valley Greens project that moved haste, my Straight Dog family. That project moved with much haste.
We will therefore move with great haste to advance the La Valley Greens project.
That moved with great haste. Former Minister of Tourism also moved to sign, and I told you this before, an $100 million lump sum contract. To date, he has given no explanation to the country about the people's money except to say this, my straight dog family.
Apparently, he wants me to explain to the nation why I, as a minister, signed an agreement. Well, it seems as though he wants me to explain why I signed. I'm told that he said he's not accusing anybody of bubble, but that he was just asking where's the money. That's what I'm told, right? And I don't remember. But let me say what I have to say. I'm not saying it didn't happen.
You can't say it didn't happen. But the point I'm making based on that caller, as I said, gave us a lot of food for thought, is that so many things happened when Douglas was in office. But any good thing that Douglas did was certainly overshadowed by the many bad things that I do not wish to spend time on tonight, my straight dog family. As the night is moving on and I started a bit late, I wish to focus, therefore, on the restoration, or before that, I should say, under your team unity administration, I should say, they were Park Hyatt Hotel Resort, they were both under this team unity administration. But tonight, I want to focus on the restoration of our economy. And Prime Minister Harris recently made mention of this restoration of the economy to full health, and he predicted over a 2-year. This is what he said.
We will receive over the next 2 years. Of course, this starts with the opening of the economy in a safe way. It is exactly what we have been doing. We will have a very targeted approach to the marketing of St. Kitts and Nevis in traditional tourism source markets and indeed in new markets. We shall revise the build-out of our capital projects in 2021, focusing on those with the highest economic impact. You shall see innovations in the transformation of our CBI program, the build of alternative energy, the expansion in agriculture and our fisheries programs, increasing opportunities for our young people, to name a few.
And my straight dog family, the prospects for economic recovery, I believe though, will depend on how effectively we can combat COVID-19. I'm sure that you will agree with that, my straight dog family. The better we do on public health, the better the economy will also do. We have contained the spread of this dreaded virus, but our borders come this weekend. We must be very careful of any resurgence which can overrun our system. Between the rock and the hard place, I would suggest. Coronavirus and our healthcare system and our economy like never before, leaving thousands of kids and divisions, division families struggling to pay their bills. Thousands of hotel workers in this place. What about our taxi drivers as well? I understand that some of their vehicles have been replaced higher purchases. If that is so, that seemed to me a bit brutal. And if that is so, can I make a plea on behalf of the taxi operators? There are 707 taxis registered in the Federation. 150 are ground buses that were licensed for 2020. Are you going to solve these? Also, 606 communities needs our help in these unpredictable times. I heard the president of one of the presidents of the one of the associations had this to say. It really,
Here we are, just before us, and we as stakeholders don't know what's going to happen. Most we can honestly govern ourselves accordingly and just be safe. But I would like for every one of our members to be able to make dollar or several dollars. That's the whole thing. Frustrated.
I could imagine how it is. But the people with the disease, it just so that was years ago, I should say. It was by now, the authorities would have met with a particular group of stakeholders that drive our ambassadors. People about the disease, less to go to the barbershop for a hit, or a meal, or to a spa, you know, or some services, or to travel to a foreign country. Disease can be on the economy. The coronavirus pandemic is more than a public health crisis. As someone put it, an economic wrecking ball. Since the first reported cases in early 2020, COVID-19 has single-handedly wiped out more than $11 trillion of wealth across the world, induced a global recession, and put millions of people out of work, either temporarily or in some cases for good. It is not clear how long it may take for families to get back on their feet financially, I should say, but we do from experience know that with crises there are steps we can take today to potentially restore our financial wellness faster. So as we continue social distancing and hope progress to combat COVID-19, we ask the question, what steps can we take starting today to our financial house back in order? What steps can we take? The longer the virus remains a threat and our borders remain closed, then a stimulus will then become critical. If people are not working, then some form of government intervention and the provision of money for people to make purchases will be required. Without a further stimulus package or payment and closed borders, normal life would be at a standstill, and our economy would begin to falter, and employment only rise. The political dialogue may not be to support more fiscal interventions. Imagine $100 million was pumped into the economy. The anticipation that would be designed to help us over a 3-month or 6-month period is now gone beyond that. We need to have a good economy, but we also need to ensure that we all have good health. As it said, the health of a nation is the wealth of the nation. Now, my straight talk family, as I go to the lines, and I apologize for the tardy start again tonight to my own technical difficulties. That was my trying to fight with the technology. We are here. And I'm asking you tonight, in terms of our opening the borders, what is better? We open the borders or we close the borders and let the economy die? The things we have to consider. Yes, we have a good economy. As I said, we need to also ensure we have good health. Health experts have been guiding us well over the last couple of months. Our team unity administration has been doing a wonderful, marvelous job. So I'm going to line tonight, my straight dog family. I want to raise that issue and any other issue that you yourself want to raise. And I'm going to open the line, take your calls and your emails. I forgot to handle your emails last time around, but forgive me. I'll handle them tonight. And I always like to implore you, when I go to the lines, is that you ought to respect others. And of course, to achieve that, you must first respect yourselves. Let us try to be fair to all concerned. Let us try to build goodwill and better friendships. Let us ensure that the things we say and or do will be beneficial to all concerned. Let us also, my straight dog family, let us strive rather to build a kinder, gentler St. Kitts and Nevis. And as we go forward in these difficulties, I want to implore us to stay together. As the caller said, forget strife. We need to open the economy in a safe way, as the Prime Minister tried earlier. He has reprioritized a build out of capital projects in 2020 with economic impact. He singled out alternative energy. He singled out the expansion of agriculture and fisheries, and of course, increasing the opportunity for young ones. This Prime Minister spoke as well about his 2021 budget and bringing the STEP workers and the GAE employees on the civil service full-time payroll. So STEP workers can now go to a loan or go to a bank for a loan and in fact get use their salaries for a deduction. It's now 8:42. I go to the lines. A caller, you are live. Hello, caller. Is there a call on the line?
Very pleasant good evening to you. Janet, down in station. But I want to say something here now. Nobody gonna hit me, the radical man, and they walk away like that if I interfere with them. We are talking on behalf of our country. We are proud of the progress of our country under the leadership of Dr. Timothy Surplus after Surplus Harris and his team. And anybody gonna say that we sound like we in a rum shop is because they are in the rum shop and they call us for a drink. So evil thinks as evil does. Enough of that. When this other guy was calling in on another radio station every day and disrespecting ministers of government by calling them by their real name, Lindsay this, Timothy this, Timothy that. Why didn't he call in and tell them they sound like what he's saying we sound like? But anyway, our country is going on. And I would like to know, and all the citizens of the Federation of St. Kitts Nevis, we would like to know if those people who are criticizing the leadership of this country, of this government, by getting so many projects completed without going overseas, go borrow any money from any OECS country, and not even IMF, and we are getting things done. So when they're criticizing the government and the Prime Minister, tell them look at that to see how we are functioning with a little country. Every month end, government workers are getting paid. They've never been short paid yet. And even in this corona crisis, many big countries can't survive. They have to cut down this and cut off that. And everybody bawling mother who ain't dying from starvation. Thank God he ain't reached here as yet. But our borders will have to be opened because you see the many buses, taxi vehicles that take back. We don't want that. Everybody have to eat. And so therefore the taxi drivers, operators, they need their house so that they can get bread to feed their house and the family. And I am asking those agents who've been selling vehicles to these taxi operators, please have some consideration and some compassion on these people and call them in and make some arrangement with the payments on their vehicle, because it is not easy when you broke for a week, never mind for months, and they're not making any money because our peer is not functioning yet because the borders are closed. But thank God, when the borders are open, our peer going to be stuck and rampant again with tourist ship. So people like Mr. Troffman ain't going to say that we have a white elephant pier down the bay. And every taxi operators will get a chance to make a penny. Patches, I will come back because I got more blows to throw. Thank you.
Thank you very much, caller. And you know, it's it's a little tough, really. You know, one could understand the business, but it borders on being heartless. In times like these, you are repossessing $1 kilo. $1 is better than anything, or nothing rather. Take $100. Take some sorts of money from those. Caller, you're live. We go back to the calls. Caller, you're live.
Good night to the Honorable Ian Patches Liburd. Good night. Patches, I will say and I say again, this unity government is a God-sent government. And the Honorable Dr. Timothy Harris is a God-sent leader to this nation. Patches, what's going on under the farmer leader? I hope that English gentleman will speak and talk about speaking like we speaking in a rum shop. I hope you just consider that we all here was black people when the farmer leader tell a black man who work in the sugar industry for his life, tell him he gonna sell him when he ask him about his money. You understand? And this is the things that these people over there in the diaspora, they don't underground to know what's going on in the country. People say, I'm going to message to them and say, I'm going to think to them on Facebook and YouTube and all these things. But they send the wrong message. Patches, under the leadership of Dr. Harris with the unity government, he ain't going to be perfect. Everybody know that everybody ain't going to decide with one another, this and decide with one another that, because we are a human being. Even a family, home, with children and mothers and brothers and sisters, family members, you can't get everything right. You understand? But Patches, this is the best for the nation. You know, hear about the household program. You know, hear about all of that people household program damage. Even some don't even get damage. People that rat the roof on the house for years, almost 15, 20 years. People in these abandoned building, like in abandoned building. You know, see this unity government come and forward to fix the people. But it's Mr. Politics speaking here. And none are from in the diaspora who ain't live here on the ground. I'm not against that, you know. But if it's all born here from here, I have no problem with that. This is your country. But you all got to be on the ground to know what's going on here. And stop listening to fake news. Dr. Harris is the right man who come as the leader. And listen now, with the bill they're going to pass for the total, I do not, listen to Patches, I believe Dr. Harris could run the country for the next 3 terms with the leadership then. Especially when the border open with the COVID and they get everything managed and nobody are much affected with the COVID. Patches, you cannot beat a leader who likes poor people. You cannot beat a leader who likes the people. You cannot beat them leader there. The man, in man for the back belly and the ordinary man for the country come from the bowels of labor. Dr. Harris is a real labor. I believe that he's a real labor man. Because look what he has done. And look what the farmer leader tried to do him. And to others who was in there with him. Mess up the political career. You understand? And some of them talk about the Gamba. Patches, you have a good night. If I get back, I get back.
Yes, have a good night as well, my dear brother. And you reminded us, there's so many things we could speak about tonight, but we're not going to give much credence to that leader. But let's go back to the lines. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
For great African answers, especially the most honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey and Queen Nzig. Blessed evening, my beloved brother. Hope all is well with you, brother. Long time, man. I don't know, man. Try about 1,000 times to get him, but that's the past. Let's move forward. Now, brother, let me commend this government, man. This administration, because the government is the people. This administration, brother, is the best run country on planet Earth. And I'm not saying this because I support this administration, brother. I listen to radio stations in Antigua, Barbuda. And you don't want to hear the commendation that the people of Antigua and Barbuda said about this administration of it. And I listen and I call on a daily basis from Monday to Friday and sometimes Saturday. But let me commend this administration, but he's saying that opening the borders, we must open the borders. But the people of St. Kitts Nevis must adhere to the protocols. They must get that in their heads. Must adhere to the protocol. Otherwise, things going to go wrong. And we don't want our people to suffer and die. We must adhere to the protocols. And to my beloved brother, politics, you ain't got to be on the ground to know what's going on in St. Kitts Nevis, my beloved brother. I disagree with you with that. Brother, in closing, let me say, brother, more than ever, and I've been calling for this for years, even before this administration take governance of St. Kitts Nevis, that we need at least $75 million allocated for agriculture. And I hope, Mr. Minister, you call it all, and I hope your colleagues and the Minister of Agriculture seems to be a visionary brother and serious about agriculture. I'm not saying that Brother Hamilton wasn't serious, but this brother is a little more serious than Brother Hamilton, brother. And I hope $75 million or more is allocated to agriculture. We need agriculture more than ever. We should have done that years ago under this administration, but too late than never. So, for Prime Minister and the entire administration, let's still more than ever put $75 million or more in agriculture so our people could survive, self-sufficient, food security down the line. Can't depend on tourism wholly and solely. And I've been saying that for years now. Time has come to happen. And we got to protect, we got to diversify our economy, agro-processing. And I know them out. And sometimes I don't need to be saying just broken records, but we must do this. My brother, talk to you. Pan-Africanism will perish while never continue to listen.
Thank you, my brother, and one love as well. It's now 5 before the 9 o'clock hour, and you're calling for $75 million for agriculture. The Prime Minister did, in fact, focus, did, in fact, give us an insight into what the money is going to be spent on in the upcoming budget. And he focused on expansion of agriculture and fisheries and increasing the opportunity for young people. But don't forget as well that there's some 3,000 step workers coming on to the civil service payroll. So that would be a cost to government as well. Let us go back to the lines. Caller, you are live.
Good evening. Good evening, Patches. What I want to say to the whole Sankits and the people and them. Now, why they went? If they know they don't want to be a part of unity, why come and disturb the Prime Minister to go around and campaign with them to help them to win an election and different things like that? And now they win the election and they're going good. They learn people corrupt in the head. But God don't sleep. He don't sleep. You understand me? And He's watching and He see what's going on. If they don't want to be in a party unity, leave the Prime Minister alone and go and do what they had to do. They never had to need the Prime Minister, but a lot of them want to get to see Church Street. You know, so the ungratefulness what they're doing, let them continue to do it, and you can see how far they reach with it. Patches, you enjoy yourself, keep the health going strong, and the best of luck. God love the Unity Party, and He love the Prime Minister and you and everybody. So God bless you all.
My dear brother, and yes, you're so correct. We go back to the lines. Caller, you are live.
Hello. Hello? Yes. Patches? Good night, Mr. Patches. How are you? You think it's still? You think it? I just calling to say good night. I don't want to stay too long, but saying it's nice. And that is why you're going to do it twice. Patches, see you when I see you. Patches, I was listening to a talk show Friday. Oh my God, people don't want to give the government no at all. When they do give the government a credit, they want to do it in a jokey way. They're talking about surplus and they hype like a joke. Oh, the surplus, you know, ring and a proof. I mean, come on, man. Patches, see you when I see you. Think it's nice, so nice. And that's what we're going to do it twice. Patches, see you when I see you. Me too love saying it. Unity all the way. Keep up the good work. You hear Patches? Patches again, everybody laugh and talk to you. They're for you, okay? Look out for them, Patches. A lot of them is wolves in sheep in clothing. Look out for them, Patches. They're out there. Look out for them. Look out for the real people them. It ain't everybody come and laugh with I the why, you know. I know I real. Patches, you have a safe night home. I call this radio station all the time. I almost forget if I'm saying it's enough. Because I couldn't get in 29 times I called sometime last week. But anyway, you have a safe journey home. Keep up the good work. No matter what the circumstances may be, you for your tongue and your tongue for you, okay? So don't matter what they do with ballots and everything, that's all right. When you get pay, you got to do what you get paid for. Okay? Remember people from the Newton campaigning against you, and they prove to them they're going to do what they have to do. Patches, love you. Love saying kids. See you when I see you. Bye.
Good morning, my dear. Let's go back to the lines. It's now 9 p.m. right to the top of the hour. Caller, you are live.
Look, Patches, you know why all this confusion is about? They say that they vote for Palmer. They vote for unity. So that's all the confusion they have. And what they say now, that you all must fix up 4 Thomas Hotel and stop rent, people building, because government have enough building that they can fix up and stop paying. And you will get a lot of money to save in the country. But you are just paying out the money. All the when in the police station them, you are renting place. The fire station, you are renting place. It's like you are fixed Old police station and other police station that we can get the money surplus. And plus of it, again, they say that why all those amount of crazy people, young people in the crazy house? You all need to do something about it. Give them some kind of work that they can work, because everybody know this Corbia, whatever his name is here. And plus, when the borders are open, I need the taxi man them to make sure they have sanitizer and everything. And the bus man them say, thanks for the bus terminal, the west bus terminal and the east bus terminal. But everybody need the money that go help. And all those bus where they take away from the taxi man them, and the taxi man them for. But you always encourage us to go to the bank to take a loan. And when we can't pay the bank takes everything from us. And that is bad for poor people. Have a blessed evening and safe journey. A month full of that. You.
A lot said, and very important as well. My straight dog family, and that's whom I now refer to as my labor friend. I'll go back to the lines. Caller, you live.
Emblem, and my emblem says CAS, country above self. I walk in all the demonstration march that Team Unity construct had. I walk in all of them, and I ain't walking the march there because I want to go on to the back of the yard, go ask Dr. Timothy Harris for no favor. I work for them, for my country. I will die for my country. So when hypocrites come around, they will drop out, they will lay down quick and drop down. Jesus had 12 men, and out of that small number of 12, one of them was a hypocrite. And according to the picture, what those people portrayed and say, well, those are the disciples, and that's Jesus. The one with the chin, long like a fishing rod, right up in Jesus' face like he want to kiss Jesus. When Jesus said, one of you shall deny me. He said, is it me, Lord? Some of them, they know who keep criticizing the government and saying that the surplus is a fake. Them there was in the march, but when you look back now what they face in the march, you could have seen that they only in the crowd because they want something for self. Self. Look how much money spent down upon the green fence, down Cranston. All that money there could have been around here to help to give even the taxmen them who are working something. That 42 million that gone over Christopher Harbour out of our SIDF money, lend people who come in your brokes and say they come invest. They ain't got no money. Take up our SIDF money and give them. Some of that money there could have helped to pay a lot of people who are working and who need something. So when they're going on radio, say they're talking and criticizing, looking at your eye first. Some of them contract up and work a whole year, get paid under an expired contract, and come now talking about good governance and transparency. Transparency. The government is doing good, but are you ashamed? You can't get nothing to do now. Somebody not gonna trade. Somebody not got nothing to fall back on. And a lot of they don't condemn. When a judge you gonna tell what the judge tell you in court. What could they say? What? Some of them were working in an institution, a medical institution, and they mess it up, and now they're going for radio playing Lord and Savior. Boy, you can't do this country, not while all of us are calling in and Patrick Shaw, representing and defending the government, not while we are alive and we can speak, because we're going to defend, and like Kitchener said, till the last man fall, we're going to fight them all. Patrick, in England, a lot of people went to England as babies with their parents, and so they grew up big man and big woman up there. They had no passport, and the Prime Minister of England discriminated against all of them, and all of them who he discriminated against are black people. They went up in the Windrush, and he gonna wait till now to say, you ain't got no passport, or you ain't a citizen, go back down, sir. Well, Mr. London Man in the rum shop, talk about that. I'll come back, Patrice.
Caller, as I said, the longer the virus remains a threat and our borders remain closed, then a stimulus is required. We have to restore our economy. Let's go back to the lines. Caller, you're live.
Yes, good night, and how art thou? Hello? Can you hear me? How art thou? Patties, I don't know if you're back in St. Kitts, but this evening is the best night for 2 weeks now I'm getting you. And I hope it will be so for now. I am glad to hear that the border is about to open because I know we'll be making back some money. And I know how it is because these past months I've been helping out my daughter back there in St. Kitts. So I hope now that the border is open. I know she will be getting back her job for sure. They don't call her. So I thank God for everything. And I hope you have a good night. I don't know if you are back in St. Kitts now, but this week is the best week I am hearing you. Very clear. And have a good night. And you know who this is. This is your cousin in the States. So I hope to see you sometime soon. Bye.
The cousin, and we've done some improvements, and then as we go along, it's a continuous improvement, and we do thank all the listeners, all the callers, all the viewers for their patience and for sticking with us, but we will improve as we go along. And yes, the borders are being open, and we have to remain focused. We have to restore our economy, and the prospects for economic recovery, of course, will depend on how effectively we can combat the virus. The better we do on public health, the better the economy will do. Caller, you're live.
I listen to a lot of people. I am reading from Psalm 75 and verse 6. Promotion cometh neither from the east, nor the west, nor the south. God is the judger. He put down, he set up. Now, Mr. Patrice and everybody, listen clearly. God is the judger of all. God makes the decision. God created this whole universe. Now, when anything happens in this world, the Lord have his hand in it. Nobody could get nothing unless God. So God here, the faithful, the remnant of St. Kitts. And so because when Douglas was pressurizing the people, 85% and electricity, water went up to 600%. The people cry out to the Lord, and God remove Mr. Douglas. Listen, when God moves a man, he cannot get back there. God is the man. God is the whole universe. He know what to do. He know before anything happened that Mr. Harris will be the leader of St. Kitts Navis. And he knows that Mr. Harris is a compassionate man. So he put Mr. Harris there to look after the poor people. When I tell Douglas one time, blessed is the man that consider it before. You know, Douglas, and then I asked you a question in a town hall meeting that you put 85% on the poor people, and when I started to talk to him, you know what Douglas said? Like a missile. So the man didn't have no regard for poor people. And I know that the Lord is going to remove Douglas, and he do so. No, Mr. Harris is come. There is nobody else. You could have voted as much as you want vote. But when God did not put his hand in it, Mr. Harris couldn't be there. But God put Mr. Harris there. And there is nobody who move him. God removed Saul and put David. And so that is the same thing happening in this world. And this is the same thing happening in St. Kitts. So when we hear people saying all the kind of things, it's God doings. It is not man doings. So we, as St. Kitts people, we supposed to give thanks and praise for Mr. Harris because God put him there. Nobody put him there. God put him there. So I give thanks and praise for Mr. Patrick Liburd. God put Patrick Liburd. And so I am saying tonight that Mr. Patrick, you be strong. God is going to strengthen you. God is going to uphold you. And that is the same thing what can happen to the Prime Minister. When the Prime Minister call up on the Lord and always talk about and praise up the Lord, God is going to bless the country. The word of God says when a country forget God, the nation is doomed. When a country lift up the voice and call unto the Lord, God is going to lift them up. So when you praise God every single day for the Prime Minister and put God's name in it, God is going to look after us. Please let us lift up the Lord God. So it's God put Mr. Harris there. Let us give God thanks and praise. The word of God says, oh, give thanks unto the Lord for his good. His mercy endures forever. So please, I beg in all your heart, give God thanks and praise for Mr. Harris. It's God put him there, and no man can remove him. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you very much as well, my dear brother. Sorry for that delay. And you're so correct, my dear the Bible man. Let me go straight back to the lines. Caller, you are live.
Patrick, it's a pleasant good evening to you, and how are you? And I hope you are safe and well.
Patches, you must tell your friends and boys. It says this government here have all the people building rent out. Is she husband who have the building them rent out before you all get in? Because it seemed like he had was to pay back for the favor that they did for him. So he had was to rent all of them buildings that they could get the pay back. He came all you. And all the police station them was down under she husband. And I try to fix, even Davis and all. Army camp and all boat was down. And that didn't happen under Ayo. It happened underneath she husband. So when she meet she husband, she must ask she husband why he let all the police station them down and why he rent so much a building from his friend them. That's what she must ask. And don't come and blame Team Unity. And Nabu corona going wrong for everybody. Not because we don't have none here yet. When we get $75 million to give for the armed thing there. When we get that, but you know, the Prime Minister got monetary plant down here now, so you could just go and pick off and the 75 million. Remember the Prime Minister no sell no passport, you know, and he ain't getting none for 1 million. So somebody could got the money get to use. So he willing to give that, but he don't have that right now because Corona is around for everybody. And maybe the monetary joy down and think that the Prime Minister monetary a grow money. But I don't think I hear him say that he have no monetary plan that he could pick off 75 million and give for agriculture. So please give him a break. Let him strive. Nabo, at least you have a pleasant night and be safe. Dimples.
Yes, I can see your dimples. I can see your dimples, my dear friend. And you're also correct. And I believe the caller ought to get up to date because, in fact, right now as we speak, the Sandy Point police station is being constructed or is under construction. There'll be a post office, also the fire services as well. And that police station was in a house rented for over all the 20 years of Douglas. Millions of dollars was paid in rent. But let's go back to the lines nonetheless. Caller, you live.
That is, I must remind Washington Archibald for his political history in the Federation of St. Kitts Nevis. I must remind him, gone but not forgotten. And Patches, when I remember Washington Archibald, he gone. And we still got woman star here like Sister Cyril Henry, calling in different radio programs and try to educate the nation about whether politics or whatsoever. Because she should contribute, Patches. And she do talk in a good health and she good brains. She might have issues, but I do not think she ain't getting in that dementia area yet. Patches, I get a call from overseas. You understand? And the talk show Friday with Dr. Patrick Martin, Sam Kanda, and I think Juni Liburd was the thing there. And I made to understand Sylvie was talking and try to, you know, she asked question and try to think and so. And they said Juni had a big laugh out, I laughed and nearly take in. You understand? And Dr. Patrick Martin, and well, they were telling me about Sam Kanda laugh and so, but Sam Kanda was just there. You understand? God, woman like a freak, God, woman like a joke. Patches, that's why I tell you that. I know the feeling that. They ain't that about freedom. When I call in on Freedom Radio Station in the past few months gone back there,
When Angelina and Anthony is a Mr. Politics, is show Joseph Freedom is a propaganda station. One time again, EK was on and I called into Junie. And Junie said, Mr. Politics, you see Mr. Politics, Freedom, I mean, EK ready for the call yet. You see Mr. Politics and Junie, yes. But how they say stop calling for Freedom? You understand how they say stop, and how they say Joseph Freedom a propaganda station? So Patrick, the people they want to hear the truth. These people just want to hear people come on the station and just lambaste the government and start for the negative thing because are they politically against the government for whatever reason. But Patrick, I know that our people here, 98% literate, as they say, we say. And the people them, 2015, they went and they be freedom of Dr. Harris and the team of mandate. The 2020 again, because they see the performance of the government, they give them a mandate and increase the vote. Patches, we cannot let them distract us. This is our country. Dr. Harris, know that his cabinet, I remember them bringing the COVID here. COVID come here because COVID come here, boy, whatever. And Patches, for some months now, we ain't get affected. And when the border open, I just calling on the good citizens of this country, whole of the country, try to go to the protocol and go do whatever you got to do. That you can't get affected by no one coming in because the COVID is thinking right now. Patches, when people listen to people like me, Mr. Politics and Culture and others, we talking the truth because we in this country and culture was around, I mean going on, you know, live a state from them and back and forth. But he always listen and he know what's going on in the Federation. Patches, again, you have a wonderful night. God bless.
Yeah, God bless you as well, Mr. Politics. And like I've said before on so many occasions, the truth to some ears may come across as being harsh. And I apologize for that. But on Straight Talk, our strong belief is that democracy is not served by keeping people in the dark when it comes to public information. On Straight Talk, this host cannot nurture a casual relationship with the truth. Before I go back to the lines, this email reads, Dr. Liburd, when will the bridge to and from St. Kitts Nevis start? And when will the rest of the traffic lights also start? Thank you. The traffic lights phase 2 will start anytime now. I know the bridge to Nevis is a manifesto commitment, and the country has just given Team Unity another 5-year mandate. So within 5 years, I'm sure we'll get close, or we should complete that bridge construction. Caller, you're live.
Night, how are you? Everything that's happened for a reason, that you could know who wanted to fight you down. And I don't think no ministers must open the houses. You have done well. They want to open everything. Never mind the terminal is in Central. You did not even get a say on it. Know them mine. Your good friend must stop let people tell her what to say. They're laughing at her. They know better. Let her think before she talk and know what to say. She always telling you about what wants fixing. She always calling up Elimat name. I tell her already, and I am going to say it again. Ask her leader for 20 years what PAM people get. Nothing. And they're still there reaping the success of unity to get what they want. And telling you about opening up the houses. We could not ask her leader nothing. When she come on, she never tell you the government has done well. And it's she people fighting you down. And to the ministers, when the voters go to them, they can't help them, and how to watch all who around them did not care if they get there. Let her take a leaf. Let her take a leaf. Let them take a leaf out your book. For who? All families spell alike. Stay strong.
Patches, I have begun to listen to Win FM News again with this email. I had ceased listening months ago because it seems to me that Patches was the focus of attention with Dwyer and Ken Richards, trying desperately to destroy your good name and incredible performance within your ministry. Now that both men have succumbed to their lies, falsehoods, and mischief, and cascaded into oblivion, I am proud to return to WinFM News. The news now to me is more accurate, balanced, and fair, reads this email. This other email reads, Street Dog Family, I love the way Mrs. Henry do handle the three misinformers on Freedom Radio on Friday afternoons. They realize Mrs. Henry is no fool and is speaking truth and facts, and when she backs them in a corner with their foolish and misguided utterances, they cut her off with a fake excuse that someone else is trying to get in. One of them had to admit that Mrs. Henry really does come with some good facts, but sometimes she skews them. Nonsense, Mrs. Henry, I thank God for her. She's doing a wonderful job educating the people, even Dwyer, Sam, and Junie. Praise the woman. Man, instead of calling her down, she is just sort of your match, reads this email. And if you're just joining us, my Street Dog family, we are looking at the restoration of our economy. And that starts with the reopening. I mean, it started already, I should say, but it's going to continue with the reopening of our borders on the 31st. And we are going to look at what's good for the country and for our health. Caller, you're live. Caller? Okay. We seem to have lost, so let's. Are you there, caller? Okay, then we seem to have lost that caller. We go back to the line. Caller, you're live.
Yeah, okay. It seems like some people don't take the time and listen attentively when your program come on. Because since the 2 weeks, you've been saying to us, when the phone is ringing in our ear, we're going to hear when you pick up, and we're supposed to start talking. Because if we ask to say if you say good night, we are not going to hear you. People, listen, please. That is all I have to say now again. This is my last do. Our borders will be opened up. And all I am asking, Tutmun Sambagai, Captain and Cook, citizen and residents, adhere to the protocol. Please, everybody, do what the task force asks us to do. Wear your mask when it's necessary. Please don't be ignorant and go in a bus, go jam up and only the driver have on a mask. And when somebody say, well, how come my eye, you know, got on my eye, you start to abuse. That is real. Mr. Corona going to get in and one of you in there too. And as soon as you come out, you go on home with that and your whole family catch it. Please adhere. And now let me say to the law enforcers, police, are they supposed to police the country? Make sure that when you see anybody without the mask and they're supposed to have on the mask, at the time when you see them, deal with them and don't turn your face and don't want no color and don't want no friend. Deal with them with the penalty. I forget what the penalty is, how much money you got to charge them. Otherwise, if you don't carry out the law, enforce the law, they're going to stroke the teeth and go down the road and do what they want. This corona thing here, it don't respect nobody, not even death. Nothing. So we have the weapon to fight back the corona. Let us keep our eyes on our borders around the island, around the country. A lot of people are going to try to come in here illegally because they don't want to be quarantined. So we have to look out for them when they're coming in the nights. You need to look for the lights and whatsoever. Whatsoever we see, call the police right away. And police, you get up. No mark time here in the government booth. Let us go quick march, quick fast. Let's go forward. No slow march here. Bring down the penalty mine. Otherwise, I never like it, we population is 60,000, And one big calf for somebody who got it in the ground. So one in all your mind, everybody be on regard. All of your police. Patrick, have a good night, yeah? Thank you. This is it.
Have yourself a good night as well, my dear brother. And it's they have to strike a balance between our maintaining our health and safety in the country and ensuring the economy grows. Let's go back to the lines. Call out your live.
Particularly years of walking up Baker's Corner. I never hear nobody come and talk about come get out the house. Because they had some, I don't know what to call them there, and nobody not study them. And when you was building them there, a lot of things they had was to say, oh, how they only have one door, and this and the other. And now that the house they finished now, they rushing, forget the house them. You must go open up your house. They say you ain't do nothing, so how you must go rush you open house for them? Patches, take your time. You could open them 20, 25 and all. They say you ain't do nothing, and don't bother with them crab in a barrel syndrome. We're going around in this place here. You have a pleasant night, and I love you.
I love you more, my dear. I really love you more. I can see your dimples, and I can feel that. Yes, we're not gonna be bothered about that. We'll do what's necessary. Patches, you have to get China to come into St. Kitts and do their survey on building the railway and American bridge to build the bridge to Nevis. But the railway is needed very urgently. On YouTube, you see how China has built beautiful high-speed railways in Africa. If St. Kitts get this type of railway, people can travel from one point of St. Kitts to another more often because by rails it is very cheap. Please get these done ASAP. The St. Kitts Nevis Bridge also. Come on, get these done as soon as possible. Reads this email. This other email reads, let's go back to the lines. Caller, you're live.
Good night. Yes, this is Sugar. They talk about bridge between St. Kitts and Nevis. You'll never see a bridge built between St. Kitts and Nevis. And a traffic is through that channel where boat does pass. And if any bridge is to build, it's going to be a cable bridge that boat could pass under. Cable bridge expensive, You got money to build cable bridge? So
world today with advancing technology, and there's not much, if any, marine or maritime traffic through those areas there. It's not really a maritime route, but yes, you ought to give access to vessels or the possibility of vessels passing through that channel. But to say it will never be Sugars, the man from West, I am really at variance. Trust me, my straight dog family. Now that the manager and owner of Travel World has passed, I wonder if Douglas will find a conscience to pay his family the over 300,000 owing to Travel World for flying in Labour supporters to vote in the 2015 general election. Lord Dougie man, you're heartless. Why you don't like your death? First it was Zambo, now it is Travel World. And those are the views of the emailer, not necessarily the views of Straight Talk and or the host of Straight Talk. Caller, you're live.
Those house on Wellington Road is Jeffrey and is supposed to get him out because he is the minister. So you have find something that
Caller, I don't know if he is the minister or what the minister of, but that's what street talk is all about. My family, we go straight back to the lines at 24 before 10 o'clock. Call it live.
100 billion and $1, we're gonna get it, Bill, because we got a man who know how to spend money, not the man to waste money and took money here and took money there in his pocket, what money belongs to him, and the building them up Wellington Road is you're gonna give them out, so you don't have to be in no fear. God is with you. Don't study with what none of them say. Okay? So, just continue serving your God and hold to God and change in hand and focus on Him. Read your Bible. I love you. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. Any evil tongue raised up in judgment against you shall be condemned. So let her talk and say what they like. Let her worry about the bridge and the apartment then. See you. Take care.
Okay, my dear, take care of yourself as well. And we go straight back to the lines. Caller, you are live.
Who get out the labor house them for you?
I mean, that was 2020, right? 20 seconds. We didn't quite hear what that caller was saying. But in fact, the houses will be distributed. Those houses, remember those houses on Wellington Road? Remember that project was built way back in 1957 or 58. And after 20 years of labor, people living in some squalid conditions, this, as the representative then, I did in fact commit to change the standard of living on West Street and Wellington Road, and I started it. It was delayed unnecessarily, but that's history. The fact is that there's some 24 of the 60 units are already complete, and I'm sure we will get them distributed or allocated shortly. Caller, you're live. Yes, caller.
Since we ain't gonna have no carnival jamming and Juve holding on, hold me when we waste Master Tracy, we're gonna be able to see a lot of the folklore. So we're gonna have a lot of clown on the street, and clown don't start to practice. Right now, clown no practice hard tonight, yeah. Now with all the money what Bragadam say he pay for a passport, and all the other money what they left up in Gatwick in England, those money there could have come down here and fix Mass's house. But because the money ain't there to fix Mass's house, they have to hire a private place to have the labor union conference. Shame on them. From the time that man they get in office, he abandoned Mass's yard, big tree behind there, big bush grow up and all over the place around there. Look Mass's house. Look at it. And then she come talking stupid about government thing, government house, how in police station and all of that. Look at Pam. Pam have any kind of conference is up in Pam headquarters. I could say it now on ZZ Pam, because once ago you couldn't mention the name PAM, Pam and ZZ. You couldn't even say the People's Action Movement. You had to say up the hill. Thank God for unity, for it up. All they have to do pay them money to go in ZZ and say what they got to say. They don't have to write no manuscript and give to no selected senator and ask if you, the deputy prime minister, could go and ZZ. Let them talk about that. That is big beam in the eye when they come in talking about transparency and bad leadership and good leadership. Let them talk about that. You second in command, And you have to go with a manuscript to give somebody who they call and say, I want you to be a senator. And he ain't approve of it. And you end up on the radio station where you say, just fit to go down the dump. Them these beam in your eye, man. Thank you, Patrice. Well, the rest minutes for who want to come in. Thank you.
This message reads, government has the money, Patches. A shopping mall or shopping could employ almost half of St. Kitts. What to do? Build 5 shopping malls like Walmart, USA, get one of the Walmart building styles plan, and you build a shopping mall between Keon and Otley's Village, one below Tabernacle, one down at Deep Bay, one between Sandy Point and Newton Ground, and one at Boys. You then sell them to the investors like Chinese, American, or whoever sell them just to make back twice as you build them for. Very clever idea. You will see how you create lots of jobs because those size of malls have to employ lots of people. Just do as I tell you and you'll be a hero. I have lots of ideas in store for you. More coming. You're a good man, very intelligent indeed. Thank you. Read that email. Caller, you are live.
Good night, Your Honor. It's just a bit of humor. Hall and Griffith. I am the 12th man. Culture is Hall, and Mr. Politics is Griffith. And I am enjoying the game. Thank you very much, and have a good night.
And it's now 18 before the 10 o'clock hour. We were looking at the prospect economic recovery tonight. I believe, though, that will depend on how effectively we combat COVID-19. And as I submitted before, I'll submit again, the better we do on public health, the better the economy will do. We have so far contained the spread of this dreaded virus, but as we open our borders, we must be careful of any resurgence which can overrun our system. You know what that means, my Street Dog family? Conform yourselves to the protocol. Let's go back to the lines. Caller, you're live.
Good night again. Patches, I got a serious concern with what's happening to our elderlies. Our mother, our father, who don't work hard for the home with a 2-bedroom apartment, upstairs and a downstairs 4-bedroom apartment. Patches, I don't think it is fair. When our mother and father work hard and they come elders and in the home and they stump the toe, then good old time, go stump the toe, get a little fall. And when you look now, some children can come put them in a foster home and all them kind of ignorance there. When they don't work hard, where they got into. But I call in all parents, and people who own the property and all kind of thing and got worthless children. You all could put your all thing down on the crown. Make you will for the crown, let the crown bury you, let the government feed you. Because party right now, that's my intention, That is my intention right now. Because too much ungratefulness going on in this country with people who work so hard. Up to that young lady tell me that she got she horse and she got she this and she got she that. But I just want to tell her that I hope the children them, our grandchildren who to come, go recognize her when she get on old, and that's a granny who work hard and got she house, and I put her in a home, and I can work and feed her and help care her. Because this is a big thing now. Don't go stop the children, don't go fast from the patches. And they put them in a home, people who don't work hard. You understand? So parents and people will tell her plain. When I see children, whether they are brother that are here, you think it. And then have the use for you all come back and will with the government, put your all thing, put your all, deed. Put your all deed in the crown. Let the government not find and you go feed the whole nation. Patches have a good, wonderful, God bless. That is all I got to say. Too much ungratefulness happening to
for our elderly people, man.
It's the politics. It's now 15 before the 10 o'clock hour. And as we wind down, if you just join us, again, we're looking at the restoration of the economy. And we, in fact, heard from the Prime Minister in terms of his approach to the restoration of the economy, how he will restore the economy over a 2-year period. And this is what Prime Minister Harris said.
About 4 years ago, serious negotiations.
I mixed it up, my straight dog family. That was not the soundbite I wanted to share with you. This, in fact, is the soundbite I wanted to share with you in terms of the plans for the restoration of the economy as intimated earlier by Prime Minister Harris. This is what he said. This is what, in fact, Prime Minister Harris had to say.
Restore the economy to full health over the next 2 years. Of course, this starts with the opening of the economy in a safe way. And that is exactly what we have been doing. We will have a very targeted approach to the marketing of St. Kitts and Nevis in traditional tourism source markets and indeed in new markets. We shall prioritize the build-out of our capital projects in 2021, focusing on those with the highest economic impact. You shall see innovations, transformation of our CBI program, the build-out of alternative energy, the expansion in agriculture and our fisheries programs, increasing opportunities for our young people, to name a few.
Yes, my straight dog family, that's the plans outlined by Prime Minister Harris in relation to the restoration of the economy in terms of opening our economy in a safe way. That's very important. We prioritize the build out of capital projects in 2021, that's next year, and the highest, and those will focus on the projects that would derive the highest economic impact. Focus on alternative energy. We know, in fact, the solar farm should have been already. Construction of that solar farm should have been already started. I don't know what is the current disposition of that particular project. I'm not aware, but I'm sure that sooner or later we'll get some more information on that particular project, which is so critical, so important to going forward in terms of our economic development, my straight dog family. As we wind down at some 11 minutes before the 10 o'clock hour, I wanted to suggest as well that the longer the virus remains a threat and our borders remain closed, then we have to look at a stimulus. Do we want to go back there? Does the government have that amount of funds? But Scholar, let's go back to the lines. You're live.
Jeffrey give out the house. Who she want him to give? Ha ha. Who was giving out labor own? Good night.
Thank you very much, my dear caller. As we say that we are looking again, my straight dog family, at the opening of our borders, and it is generally accepted that we must open the borders if we are going to ensure that our country stays alive. The prospects of our economic recovery will depend on how effectively we can fight or combat COVID. The better we do on public health, the better the economy will do as well. Let's go back to the lines. Caller, you're live.
Patrice, can you imagine a person born in a house, raised in that house, which become their home, and every day they go out in the public and bad talking the mother, say the mother can't cook, and the mother this and that, and it's the same mother who been cooking for them from the time they born. Well, if the mother dead and another woman, and the father get another woman in there, what they gonna do? What they gonna do? It's in the same house they're gonna live in and eat shit food. That is what they're doing to this federation. Bad talk in the federation where the navel string cut. Some of them navel string ain't cut here, but you take here and make your home. Don't bad talk your country if your country is doing good. Do not bad talk people who are doing great. Stop it. You condemn what is wrong and you applaud what is right. Everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to dead. How we could be so well? Stop all your nonsense and build up the country. It's all our country. The population of St. Kitts Nevis is only an alley in America. We ain't nothing to talk about. If Corona swamp down here, they don't even remember us. Because we ain't on the world map. We hardly on the Caribbean map. Man, are you fool once, man? Get a heart and a conscience. Love your country, people. Stop it, man. Eh? Who are you trying to impress? You can't fool sensible people. Because sensible people are aware of what is going on and they're fully awake. So are you done with that nonsense? Once and for all, God do not like it. He do not like people who tell lies and a proud look and hands will shed innocent blood. Well, Patrick, I think it's time for us to plant our own marijuana and sell and help our economy because this COVID-19 here, he ain't going nowhere right now. Unless we don't keep him off, guard him, punch him, stay off, he ain't going nowhere because he's circling around. So let me plant with marijuana, sell them. Who want to come buy, let me get money to put in the coppers. Good night. I'm done with it for you now.
You've been having a field night, Culture. You passed your quota so many times. But just for guidance, though, the laws speak to medicinal cannabis, a cannabis or marijuana or herb that's used for medicinal purposes. Let's go back to the lines. Call your line.
Now, the biggest laugh in St. Kitts right now is a lady who was in your corner, backing good, getting she medicine, getting everything. But somebody went and convinced her to vote against you, and she did. And on Friday, the woman wanted some medicine or something like that. And she went to the representative from your town. He said he's a poor man. Where he engaged from, he just gone in there. You understand me? So a lot more like that gonna come up. Because they were so ungrateful to you that they're biting the finger and the toenail at the same time. Good night. God bless you, sir. And God bless St. Kitts. And God bless unity. Good night, sir. And
Sorry about that. Good night as well, my dear brother. As we go back to the lines, at 6 before 10 o'clock, caller, you're live.
A pleasant good evening, Patrice. I want to applaud the Team Unity government under the leadership of Dr. Timothy Harris. A promise made, a promise kept. The STEP people will be on payroll. They can now go and get a loan without any harassment from the bank. Long live Team Unity. Long live Dr. Timothy Harris. Good night.
Good night, my Straight Talk family. I'm sure many would agree with that. And in fact, Prime Minister Harris had this to say about the GAE and STEP workers.
We have formed a diverse committee chaired by the government's chief personnel officer and including GAE representation to consult and work to achieve this set goal, to ensure non-establishment workers attain the elevated status of pensionable employees of government. But in the meantime, the GAE holiday pay will be paid on December 14th. This is a promise made and a promise we have kept.
Promise made, promise kept. That's what Team Unity is all about. A government that you can depend on. Let's go back to the lines. Caller, you're live. Tonight's. Let's go back to the lines, caller.
Patrick, it's so wonderful that you say what happened if a lot of people read the word of God, they will tell them what the Bible says. Now in the word of God tell you there in Psalms 41 and verse 1 say, blessed is the man that considereth the poor. In the time of trouble, the Lord shall deliver him. Now, the word of God says in John chapter, he said, if you see your brother in need, and you shut up your bowl of compassion, how dwelleth the love of God in you? Now, if you is a born-again believer, you is a Christ-like, and you love God, you're supposed to have a bowl of compassion. And I will say it again, bowl of mercy for poor people. And probably that is what you have. And nobody is coming after you going to do the same thing. Because they only gone in there for the sales package. And so the people them proper don't smoke the pipe. Because a lot of people don't seek God. They just do what they have to do. But you don't have to worry about it. Because you do what God tells you to do. And everything is going well. Until the devil step in. And the devil fool off a lot of people. And now they are regretting it now. You have to have a bowl of compassion. And right now the one who did not have none. So, that is, it is so wonderful. You know why God will bless you mightily? And you know what God will give you strength? Because you've done what God said you must do. And this is it. I just wonder sometimes when you hear people talk, the Lord say, and the Lord this, and the Lord that. And the fellow man negative. And when the fellow man come to you to ask you for something, you want to know now that God said, no. The reason what God said, you talk about love. You have to, not in word, not in tongue. You're supposed to show it in deed. And the last thing I can tell you, Mr. Patrick, when are you going to do the bus stop? And I've been talking about this bus stop for a long time. And every time I drive there, I said to myself, when these people is going to build a bus stop? They got a lot of room on the eastern side of the coming down, they come round the roundabout there to come with the going up. A lot of room on the eastern. And so, are you plead, are begging, are you plead to build the bus stop for the poor people? No. I'm asking the question, and I'm making done. So please, build the bus stop, please. Thank you very much, Mr. Patrick, and have a pleasant night. And see you when you come back to St. Kitts. Thank you very much.
Thank you, the Bible man, my good friend John. And you've been talking about this bus stop for a long time, and we ought to take heed to requests, and Public Works ought to get that as soon as possible. Let's go back to the lines as we wind down tonight's programming. Caller, you're live.
Patches, good night. I just want to shed some light on something what I said earlier. When I spoke about step people cannot go to the bank and get a loan. Step people, no bank gonna give somebody a vehicle loan that is on the step program. Nobody gonna build a house for some bank gonna lend somebody money to build a house that is on the step program. So that's why I said earlier I want to thank the Prime Minister, that he made a promise, and a promise made, a promise kept, because I know people, friends of mine who are on the step and wanted car loan and the bank turned them down. So I just don't know why some people are so political dumb. And so too, I want to add a little thing too on what I said. Sometime earlier in the month, I dropped a bomb on your program and I said, if you don't like the PM, my Prime Minister, Dr. Timothy Harris, you don't like me, my name is Marshall Lewis, everybody know my voice, and I realized that I have been getting a lot of enemies. I have a monkey, a lady, a monkey woman on my back. I cannot get me peace for her. All this time, all for months now since I dropped the bomb. But I wanted to stand me back. And I'm going to drop the bomb again. If you all out there on Radio Land, hearing my voice tonight, if you don't like my Prime Minister, Dr. Timothy Harris, pass me straight. And don't say nothing to me. And if you're on my Facebook, come off my Facebook, because the Prime Minister is doing a good job. And when somebody is doing something good, you have to applaud them. And he is doing a great job. Team Unity is doing a good job. And that is what I am saying. Patches, you're looking fresh. And keep your hands so. You have a blessed good night. And may God bless and keep you. And may God cause his face to shine upon you and give you peace. Because Patches, you is a good man. And the Bible said, the steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord. You have a good night, Patches.
My family, Marshall. And as we wind down tonight's programming, like you said, the step workers have now received the job tenure, if I think that's the right term, and all because of Team Unity. The GAE workers as well, the government auxiliary employees, I should say, they too are going to be on the government pensionable plans. I think it's a contributory pension, though. I stand to be corrected. And like as per the Public Service Bill of 2011. But the prospects, as I say, for economic recovery looks good. And I believe that we ought to focus. We are between the rock and the hard place, like I said, but let's go back to the lines and take a few more callers. Caller, you are live.
Hi, Mr. Liburd. How are you this evening? How are you? Well, I would like to say get well greetings to Mr. Mercer, because he get me on the program, but everything takes time. As the lady just said, well, along with the loan, everything takes time because I have to process in the House Assembly, but everything takes time. But I'm just waiting until to see who will get permanent and who will not get permanent. But everything takes time. But you have to show performance to see how you work and how you don't work. Because the people are going to keep asking the supervisors them who work from who not work. Because Mr. Mosa is sick right now in the hospital, but I like to get well greetings to him. You understand? Yeah, like he make me get the work. But other than that, I don't have a problem with the paperwork. I used to work around supermarket, but and Mr. Mosa make me get the work in April. So, I don't have a problem with it. Working for less money, but I don't have a problem still. Alright, enjoy your Saturday night.
Enjoy the rest of your night as well as we wind down tonight's programming. But let's take this other call. Caller, you are live. Hello.
I just want to tell Marsha, do not let them stress you and serve for your conscience. You know what you do. I know where you was, and I know where you be now. You understand? Listen, a lot of them men have no conscience. That's why they're going on like how they're going on. It's a conscience beating them. And they're going to beat them to the grave. Well said, Marsha. And I want to commend you for your little presentation you make. Because I'm telling you, Marsha, I know where you was, and I know where I was. And we work for this to happen. And thank God this thing happened, because true it happened. You, me, everyone in the federation getting a fair share. Fair share for everyone. You know, this game because of political party, because we say unity. And what else? Wherever you're there, the God bless you, keep you and guide you and protect you. And God bless the federation and think to the neighbors. When the border open up, I hope the people them stick to the protocol and just be loyal. Because that's what happening in the outer world. When the border open, the country got to close down. You have a wonderful night again, Patrick. The God bless you and keep you.
Okay, my brother. May God bless you as well. And as we wind down tonight's programming, yes, we are, as a country, still reeling from this coronavirus. We are between the rock and the hard place. The coronavirus has threatened our healthcare system and our very economy like never ever before. The coronavirus pandemic is more than a public health crisis. It's an economic wrecking ball. And my Stray Dog family, I want to send out a plea as well on behalf of those who are struggling to pay their bills. You know, the economy, as a result of this virus, is doing so bad, and leaving thousands of petition and division families struggling to pay their bills. Thousands of hotel workers have been displaced. What about our taxi drivers? They too. I understand, as I said before, but let's take this call as we wind down. Caller, you're live.
Good evening, Patches. And good evening to all the listeners. Now, I'm calling in concerning the coronavirus issue. Now, I think we have been blowing it out of proportion and overhyping it. Yes, the coronavirus is something serious. But it is but when you look at the numbers, proportionately speaking, it is no more serious than a bad season of the flu. Because even the WHO, the World Health Organization, they estimated about 10% of the world have gotten the virus. And when you match the death rate according to that percentage, it's the same thing as a bad season of the flu. Not only that, when it comes to children, the flu is actually worse for children over against the coronavirus. Because the flu has done more damage to children than the coronavirus, because children seem to be very much not affected by the coronavirus, and even young adults, the flu is about the same thing, the same danger and no more. Throw them on the same level. The only people it mostly affect most of all, it affect everybody, but people who affect most of all is the elderly, I think over either 70 or 80 years of age. But even then, when you add it up on a whole, it's no worse than a bad season of the flu, statistically. So I don't understand. We don't do these things for the flu, so why are we doing them for the coronavirus, which is no worse than the flu, statistically speaking? So that's why I begin by saying I think we are overhyping it, and not only that. When it comes to infectious disease, we call these people epidemiologists. When it comes to these people who study viruses and germs and that sort of stuff, most of them, the vast majority of them, tells you that they are not in agreement with these lockdowns and that sort of stuff. What they really recommend is that those who are most vulnerable, like the elderly, you start to protect them. But to lockdown and all these sort of stuff, most infectious disease epidemiologists is not in agreement with these measures. And Sweden, for example, who did not lock down. Sweden, for example, right now, the coronavirus situation is very, very low, unlike many other countries that lock down. Sweden is not having a second wave, and the death rate in Sweden has gone way, way down because it is believed Sweden has now reached herd immunity. And because it is believed that Sweden has now reached herd immunity, the virus does not any longer have a hold on the Sweden population. And that's why in Sweden right now, hardly anybody wearing masks. You go to Sweden, I used to look at videos in Sweden, how the people are living. You would think that they had no coronavirus because they have reached herd immunity. And in order to reach herd immunity, people have to get the virus in order to reach herd immunity. And you only need about, well, it is estimated for the coronavirus, you only need about maybe 20% or so of the people to get it. And then that would give you herd immunity. And when it comes to people dying of it, only a very small percentage of the people die from it who gets the coronavirus. The vast majority of people do not die from it, but they overcome it and recover from it. So these scary scenarios that we are overhyping the coronavirus with is really unjustified. And lastly, I would like to say, free market capitalism is the way to go, not socialist policies which do not work, because socialist policies destroys the economy. Free market capitalism is what is according to the Bible, and that is the way to go, and that is the only hope to give you true economic growth and prosperity. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, caller. If I didn't know this caller, I would say, commented with that credence to what he said. Look, it will, because there are over 1.1 million people who have died from this particular virus, and you know, it has single-handedly wiped out trillions of dollars of wealth. It has induced a global recession and put millions of people out of work. So if this is overhyped, blown out of proportion, Greg, I really have to be at variance with you. It is not clear yet how long it may take for families to get back on their feet financially. But we have had experience from other economic crises, and we know what steps to take. Let's go back to the lines. Caller, you're live.
Thank you. I'm glad that you call out the record. You hear me? The amount of people that already die from this corona. Where he get his facts from? Come talk about other disease, kill more people than corona. Brother, corona is global. It ain't all the countries just get the flu. So me anyway he get his facts from and he come talking about the country up there what he talking about. Why he don't say how many persons up there dead from it? Why he does be so contrary to facts and I always believe he right. Boy, no flu kill no half of the people them what this corona here kill. And nobody blowing nothing out of no proportion. Go and get your facts right before you come on the radio with your nonsense. You're always criticizing people who know the truth. And you come talking about if you Google this and go Google that. Who tell you you're getting the facts? So Patrick, I'm glad you just give him a little idea of the amount of people dying in the world from corona. Thank you. He now listen to right news. He listen news what contrary to righteousness and facts. And then he come in with it. Come talking about people ain't got this country ain't got no flu and no virus because and hardly anybody wear mask. Well, why should they wear mask if there's a perfect like you giving out the thing? Patrick, this is I gonna sleep here. Have a safe ride home. Thank you.
It's really it's in Senkis. Let's put it in our Senkis context. So let's take this call as well. Caller, you're live.
Patrick, is me again. Yes, the coronavirus is estimated to have killed about over 1 million. Okay? Now, 10% of the world population, that's over 700 million. So when you work out statistically, it's 0.014, which is the same thing as the flu. You get that statistic from the World Health Organization. Culture needs to do research before he really speaks, because he doesn't know what he's talking about. And not only that, it isn't the coronavirus that really destroyed economies and that sort of stuff. It isn't the coronavirus. It's the reaction by governments that really, to the coronavirus, that really destroyed the economies. Saying the coronavirus. And like I said, Sweden, who did not lock down, the economy did not suffer as much as those that locked down. And not only that, I'm going to tell you also, if you want to get a map, and you on the map you plot the people dying from coronavirus, that sort of stuff, you would not be able to tell from that map who locked down from who didn't lock down and when people did lock down, because it's all the same for countries that lock down and countries that did not lock down. You ain't seen no difference. So it's saying that the lockdown has been more effective than countries that ain't locking down. The virus have its own way and dynamics of spreading. Whether you lock down yes or not, it doesn't matter. But like I said, statistically, 0.14 has been the death rate, and that is the same thing that is equal to a bad season of the flu. And you could go on the World Health Organization where they said they estimate about 10% of the world have had the coronavirus, which is over 700 million. So yes, people dying is a bad situation, but we must put things in perspective. And like I said, statistically, it's basically the same thing. Statistically, and not only that, today, even though they say cases are increasing, yet the amount of people dying from the flu has gone way, way down and still continuing to go way, way down, even though cases is on the rise, which means to tell you, and which I've heard, they have found better ways in dealing with the virus. And not only that, there's also a second opinion that it is also believed that the virus is getting weaker. Some are speculating that the virus is getting weaker, and definitely there have been found better ways to treat the virus. That is why even the cases have gone up, yet the death rate it continues to go down and down and down and down very significantly. So because we are not looking at the whole picture, we have a wrong and skewed opinion of what is really going on with the coronavirus. We need to tell the whole truth about the thing and not just one part or X amount of people getting it. Well, if X amount of people getting it, what percentage of the people dying? You find that it's a very small percentage. And in the end, the stats is the same thing as the flu, statistically, percentage-wise. Anyhow, take care.
You know, the same World Health Organization have predicted that if the vaccine doesn't come on stream early enough, some 2 million deaths we will have in this world. And whether it's 1 or 2 or 1 million, it's 1 million too many. And even in St. Kitts here, we are fortunate. The fact is that we are in a global recession, and St. Kitts Nevis is part of a global world. Here in St. Kitts and Nevis, we spoke about the thousands of people who are out of a job. Our hotel workers, some 5,000 or more, out of a job. Our taxi drivers are out of a job. We just spoke about our taxi drivers, some who have vehicles have been repossessed because they don't have a job to pay for those vehicles. There's some 707 taxis and 150 ground tour buses that were licensed for 2020, some 606 commuter buses, and this sector needs our help in these unpredictable times. And I appeal as I leave tonight for these higher purchase people, have a heart, find some way to cope, get these people to cope. $1 to me is better than nothing at all. You take a bus, you don't get $1. Yes, you may have it to resell, but who's going to buy it in these times? And these are the issues we have to face. As we wind down tonight's programming, it's not clear how long it may take for families to get back on their feet financially. But we have some experience with crises, even here in St. Kitts and Nevis, and I'm sure that we can restore our financial wellness faster than we may anticipate. The Prime Minister suggested within 2 years we will restore to glory. But as we continue to practice safe social distancing and hope for medical progress to combat this virus, let us keep hope alive, my Straight Talk family. Let us continue to help each other, help your brother, and let us look forward to really overcoming these difficulties in time. But my Straight Talk family, my time is long done. I started late, so and thanks to Albert Bradley for allowing us to give you back that time. Thanks to our brother John in John James in Toronto. Thanks to Bevan Wilkinson right there in the studio, and all who have made this program possible. But most of all, we thank Almighty God for guiding our conversation tonight. And as always, I want to thank you, the many callers, those of you listen on whatever medium. I forgot to mention Sugar City FM St. Kitts that normally simulcasts, my brother Val T, who makes that possible. And all who listen on 96.1 FM, the nation's station. You are all the ones, those who send emails, those who called. You are the one, and those who listen, of course. You are the ones who make Straight Talk, and for that reason, I say a big, big thank you. I am Ian Patches Liburd, and God's spear, we will connect on Thursday for another edition of Straight Talk. Until we connect, be good to yourselves and to all whom you meet. And remember, whatever your mind conceive, that you will achieve. But first of all, you just got to believe. So when you wake in the morning, thank God for the morning light. Thank Him for taking you to the night. And my Straight Talk family, keep moving on.